Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive today. We are going to learn about how animals eat.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
It is, right. It's like taking a trip to the zoo, but we're just using our ears.
I like that.
So we'll be looking at this really cool science book. It's like for third grade.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it'll be easy to understand.
Perfect.
But I think it'll still be super interesting, even for grown-ups. So,
Definitely.
okay, first things first. Why do animals need to eat?
Well, just like you and me, right? Animals need food to grow big and strong
Right.
and to have energy to run around and play. I mean, food is like fuel for their bodies.
It's true. And speaking of food, did you know that animals are grouped by what they eat?
Oh, yeah. It's like having different lunch lines in the cafeteria, but for animals.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
So let's start with our first group, the herbivores.
Okay.
Herbivores are the plant eaters. Like, imagine cows munching on grass in a field,
Right, right.
or giraffes reaching for those high leaves on trees.
And they have those really cool teeth that are perfect for grinding up plants.
That's right. And their stomachs are like super blenders, so they can digest all those tough plants.
Exactly.
Okay, next up, carnivores.
Ooh, the meat eaters.
Yes. Think about lions chasing zebras or tigers stalking through a jungle.
Yeah, they have super sharp teeth
Yeah.
and powerful jaws to help them catch and eat their prey.
They're like the superheroes of the animal world.
They are.
Now let's talk about omnivores.
Okay.
They're kind of the adventurous eaters
Yes.
because they eat both plants and meat.
Right, like us.
Yes. Humans are omnivores.
We are.
That's why we can enjoy like a salad and a burger all in the same meal.
That's right. We're so lucky.
We are. Okay. Next we have the scavengers.
Right.
They're like nature's cleanup crew. So they eat the leftovers from other animals.
Right, like vultures soaring through the sky, always on the lookout for their next meal.
Exactly. And even though it might sound a little yucky, they actually play a super important role
They do. They do.
in keeping the environment clean.
Exactly.
Okay. Last but not least, we have the decomposers.
The tiny but mighty.
Yes. They're like bacteria and fungi that break down dead plants and animals.
Yeah, and they turn them into nutrients for the soil.
Right. It's like they're nature's recyclers. So we've met all these different types of eaters: herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, scavengers, and decomposers.
Wow, what a crew.
I know. But how do they actually eat their food?
Yeah, it's not always just a simple bite, is it?
Not at all. So let's start with cows. You know how they chew, like all the
Yeah.
time? They do this thing called chewing the cud.
Yes. They chew, swallow, and then bring the food back up to chew some more.
Right. It's like they have a secret stash of food they can chew on later.
It's amazing. And they have these special stomachs with like multiple compartments
Yeah.
to help them break down all those tough plants.
That is so cool. Then you have like squirrels and rabbits. They're expert gnawers. They use their strong front teeth to nibble on nuts and seeds.
And you know what's cool? Their teeth never stop growing.
Wow. So they can just keep nibbling and nibbling.
Yep. Those teeth are like little chisels, perfect for cracking open those hard nutshells.
That's awesome. Now back to those fierce carnivores we were talking about before, like lions and tigers.
Yeah, they have teeth that are like sharp knives.
I know. Perfect for tearing through meat.
It is.
And then there are snakes. Can you believe they swallow their food whole?
I know, it's incredible. They have these super flexible jaws, like they can stretch their mouths so wide
I know. Like way bigger than their heads.
so they can swallow prey that's much larger than them.
Yeah. Wow. Imagine a snake swallowing a whole deer.
Whoa, that's mind-blowing.
Right. But not all animals have teeth.
You're right.
Some use other really cool ways to eat.
Yeah. Butterflies, for instance. They use a long straw-like tongue called a proboscis to sip nectar from flowers.
That's like a built-in straw.
Uh-huh.
And then you have like dogs and cats that lap up water with their tongues.
Yeah. Have you ever seen like slow motion of a dog drinking?
Yeah.
It's like they're making a little waterfall with their tongue.
So cool. And their tongues are shaped perfectly for scooping up that water.
It is.
Now, we can't forget about some of the more unusual eating habits out there.
Oh, yeah, there are some strange ones.
I know. Like elephants. They use their trunks to pick up food and bring it to their mouths.
It's like having a built-in hand.
It is. That's awesome. And earthworms. They actually swallow soil to get nutrients.
Oh, yeah, from all the tiny bits of plants and animals in it.
I mean, it doesn't sound very tasty to me.
No, not at all. But it works for them.
I guess so. So each animal has developed its own special way of eating, right?
Definitely. And those adaptations help them to survive in their environments.
That is so cool.
It is. All right, welcome back to our deep dive. We're going to keep talking about how animals eat. It's like there's just so much to learn.
There is, there is. So you know how we were talking about all the different ways animals eat, like snakes swallowing food whole and
Yeah.
cows chewing their cud? Well, how does that all connect?
Great question. It's like this. It all comes down to something we call a food chain.
Okay, a food chain.
Yeah. Imagine like a chain, right? And each link is a different living thing.
Okay. I'm picturing it.
So at the very beginning of our food chain, we have the plants.
Ah, the plants.
Yeah, the plants are like the superstars of the ecosystem because they can make their own food.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is, right? They use sunlight, air, and water.
Wow. Like they're little food factories.
They are, and that's why we call them producers. They produce their own food.
Ah, that makes sense.
Now, the next link in our chain, are you ready for this?
I am.
It's the herbivores.
The plant eaters.
Yes, so they get all their energy from eating plants.
Right, like that cow munching on grass.
Exactly. So they're the primary consumers in our food chain. Now, who's next? Who's next? Well, it's the meat eaters, right? The carnivores. Yeah. They're the secondary consumers. And they get their energy from...
Eating the herbivore.
Oh, got it. You got it.
So it's like a chain reaction?
It is. It is.
Plants get energy from the sun. Then the herbivores eat the plants.
Yeah.
And then the carnivores eat the herbivores.
Exactly. It's like a flow of energy from one living thing to the next.
Wow.
But guess what? Sometimes the food chain gets even longer.
What? Even longer?
Longer. Yeah, because some carnivores eat other carnivores.
Whoa.
Yeah, imagine like a big shark eating a smaller fish,
Sure.
right, that had just eaten some tiny shrimp.
Wow. So it's like this super long chain.
Super long.
But what happens to all the dead plants and animals?
Oh, good question. They can't just stay there, right?
No.
That's where our friends, the decomposers, come in.
Ah, yes. The decomposers.
They break down all that dead stuff.
Okay.
And they return those important nutrients back to the soil.
So it's like a big recycling program.
It is. And then those nutrients help new plants to grow, which
Yeah.
then starts the whole food chain all over again.
Wow. It's like a big circle of life.
It is. It's a beautiful cycle. And it just shows how important every single creature is.
I know.
No matter how big or small.
We are all connected.
We are.
All right, welcome back for our final part of this deep dive. I can't believe how much we've learned about how animals eat. It's amazing.
It is, right? From the smallest bugs to, like, the biggest whales, they all got to eat.
I know. And we've talked about all sorts of eaters, like those herbivores that love plants and the carnivores that, they hunt for meat.
Right.
And omnivores that eat both. Plus, we can't forget about those scavengers and decomposers. They're so important.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And remember how we talked about food chains?
Oh, yeah.
It's like they connect all these different animals together, like a giant puzzle.
It is. And every piece is important, right? Each animal has a special part to play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So before we wrap things up, I want to ask you something.
Yeah, okay.
What do you think would happen if all the plants on Earth just, disappeared?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, what would happen to all the animals?
Well, remember how we said that plants are the producers?
Yeah, they make their own food.
Right. So without plants, the herbivores wouldn't have anything to eat.
Oh, no.
And then if the herbivores disappeared, the carnivores wouldn't have any food either.
It would be a disaster.
It would. It really shows you just how important plants are.
They are. For the whole planet.
For everything.
I know. Everything in nature is connected.
It is. It is. So next time you see a bee buzzing around or a squirrel gathering nuts, just remember how important they are.
I will. They're all part of this incredible web of life.
They are.
Well, that's all the time we have for our deep dive today. Thanks for joining us as we explored the amazing world of animal eating habits.
It was so much fun.
It was. Remember, every bite you take is part of a fascinating story. Keep learning and keep exploring.